So I just took a walk so my roommate wouldn't have to buy any more cigarettes the next time around and he can save money. I called somebody and he rolled a whole pack for my roommate. That way the next time around he doesn't have to. So I gave that to him and I told him you need to start smartening up. Not only that, while we were buying and rolling the tobacco, because we had to go get another bag of rolling tobacco for my friend next door, while we were getting the bag, we find an empty cup of decaf in the parking lot. I asked him, "Is this your empty cup that's in the middle of a parking lot?" Yes, it was. Okay. And I'm very polite and nice about this. And I explained to him, "Dave, you gotta put your needs before your wants. You cannot be spending laundry money that you need to do today on cigarettes. I will provide you. You got your own rolling tobacco, you got rolling machines, you got tubes. I had a whole pack rolled for you because you're too lazy to roll it. I'm on Nicorette trying to stay away from it, and patches and lozenges and all that. Even though it's better to do cold turkey if you're not living with somebody who's smoking in front of you. And I tell them, I don't care what you do, but you cannot hurt people or make things worse, and you have to take care of your needs. I cannot be spending my money on your needs. I cannot be wasting my time on that. I made lots of phone calls. I'm trying to set him up with some type of services as well as services for myself. Now, a couple months ago, he was continuously eating my food. Now, I brought him to get food stamps. He's eligible for food stamps. But they want him to get a piece of paper. And this is the problem with my roommate. He says, "Oh, yeah, yeah, I'm okay to go around with that. Certainly, I'll go apply for food stamps. Yeah." But once when they ask him to do any little thing, fill out a piece of paper, go get a divorce certificate, put his remember a date of when he got out of prison, anything like that, he goes, "Oh, I don't want it anymore. I'm out of here." And that's fine to do, but not if you're eating your roommate's food who's going through medical issues that are serious, that have been reported, that you've seen yourself. He's seen a seizure in Lowell. He's seen many seizures in between that. He's seen a seizure in the bedroom where I bled all over the place and he acted inappropriately. He saw two seizures back to back at my work. He's seen all this. And he's eating the little bit of food I have that I pay cash for. I do get food stamps now, but only 170, and I have to add like 100 to that. And when he eats it or throws it away, I have to replace that. And he is fighting me on getting his own food stamps. And what do I do if somebody just eats my food up and you move out? Well, that's what I'm working towards, but there's a whole process. It has to be done in a safe way where I don't get hurt. And this man isn't exactly hurting me, he's just draining my resources. There was a time where he almost did awful things to me. I was unconscious, I was in and out, I couldn't walk, it was terrible. But here's the new one. I set him up with a thing called the Share Fund. I even put my name down because I'm really disabled. I'm having seizures, I shake, people can see this, my customers, everybody. Everybody's seen this for 25 years. They just weren't reporting it properly or asking me questions about it. They were trying to kind of hide it. They were trying to cover it up with a mental illness or a made up narrative. But I set him up with the Share Fund. All he had to do was put his name down. I put that there's two people living here, me and him. We're both qualified, so they would give us extra food. Now, some of these bags are heavy. I cook the food for them. I filled out the paperwork for them. I make the calls. I put the dates on the calendar when they're showing up. So seeing as I put the food away in the fridge, I put everything where it belongs. So all that I ask of him is to bring it up 5 steps and then a total of 10 steps. That's it. Go up 5 steps, turn, go up 10 steps, and then I'll take it from there. Every single time this food delivery person comes with some food from the food pantry, he leaves promptly right before they show up. So I am stuck either carrying heavy objects where it hurts my GI that my doctor said to be careful with, or I bring everything up one by one, which means I have to crawl sometimes up the stairs. Now today I did better. Today I tried to take a short walk outside, and I only had to go on the ground like 40 times. I did like a squat, so I didn't have to crawl. I would squat, take a rest. There was a couple chairs in the middle, stuff like this. Now I'm going to show you that this was clearly on the calendar, so he knew they were showing up. That's my handwriting. I shake so much. I apologize. My handwriting is terrible. I take it down and put it on a table, but I shake horribly. Right there. I put food fund. I even gave him a reminder this morning that they were coming today. I told him, do not leave the house. Now he just bounced out. I told him, hey, your food's coming. Oh, well, they'll come later. Don't worry, I got it. Just as he gets down the street, they show up. They call me, tell me to come down and grab it. So what do? I grab it and I bring every item one by one. Now my kidneys in the back, or that region, is hurting like you wouldn't believe. My front region where the GI is insanely painful. My nervous system is shaking horribly, and now I'm trying to make it up and down flight of stairs to get him his food. Now if I don't do this, they leave with the food. He has to wait 2 weeks for the next delivery. They come in the first week and the third week. I put it on the calendar for him. Now if I do that, he will demolish the little bit of food I have. Now I've put the food away. It's all for David. The only thing I took from the whole delivery was a bag of rice. A small bag of rice is all I want. That's what I ran out of. I'll use that for my recipes for the stuff I paid for. As well as I have some food stubs left from the food stamp office. When I go back to work, that will stop again, the food stamps will stop, and I'll continue buying food. Now my food budget is it depends. Usually I try to keep it at $200, but when I'm paying $400 a month in transportation plus, I'm paying my rent, and I'm buying everything for the house, there usually isn't much food money left for me. So I'm having to go to food pantries, be creative, fill up my backpack, stuff like that. As well as I do try to save some money, work double time, things like that. But there's no reason for him to be going out today. If it's Social Security, it's not in yet, he called. There's no reason. He said that he wants to talk about Kohl's with somebody. That's fine. You should be worried about your credit card bills. You should be paying those correctly. But you don't have to leave the house to do that. What he's doing is he's trying to purposely cause problems. And he doesn't fix them. See, my mother used to try to do that too. She would make a problem, but then she would try to be the solution so everybody thought she was a good person. My roommate now has a similar problem where he likes to create problems. Like, I'll give you another quick example. I got $300 and something to pay my rent because I got hurt and I was still holding a job, and they were giving me a voucher to pay some of my rent, but I had to go back to work anyways right after that. The next month I was going straight back to work. Even though I was still injured, it's the only way I can pay my bills is to continue working, get hurt, continue working, get hurt, continue working, get hurt. I don't want to get hurt. I don't want to keep on having injuries. I don't want to keep on having seizures, but it's the only way I can pay my rent and keep up. And as far as this guy, he does pay his half of the rent, but not always. Sometimes he's short. And the electric bill is covered by me or the state. The state has covered most of our electric bills, but there are some where I've had to really pay into. Now I brought him down to the welfare office, and I had multiple people tell him, do not borrow any money. If the landlord comes by asking for the rent money, tell him that there's a voucher in the mail. It's all paid for. He knew this from me, he knew this from welfare, and Department of Health and Human Services told him this as well. What did my roommate do? He called my family behind my back, borrowed $300+, gave it to the landlord, and then told me to pay it back. After there was no reason to do this. There was no reason for him to borrow this money. He knew this. He had 3 people tell him there's no reason to borrow money. Yeah, everything's paid for. but yet he borrows money and then I pay it back to my family. Why would somebody do this? He's trying to cause problems, as well as he's losing his mind a little bit. People do that with age. It happens. That's why this man's going to need a home. But see, the state has him labeled as independent, and he's trying to hide how bad he really is. That way, because he's afraid he's going to go back to jail. I told him, no, you'll probably go into a home or a shelter, and if you're smart enough, you can keep this apartment when I move out, but you need to smart enough. But he's not. He's absolutely not. He's continuing to make mistakes on purpose. Like today, he left right before his food showed up. Okay, I brought the food in, I put it away, I made multiple trips, but I'm not supposed to be lifting, I'm not supposed to be bending, and I'm definitely not supposed to be going down those stairs. And I only took a short walk prior to this, so I'm hurting incredibly from this short walk. Why would he do this to me? Same reason why my mother drugged me. It's a mistake. It's a mental illness. It's something that has to be put out to the state of New Hampshire and has to be handled with a medical professional. If you avoid it, people get hurt. You can't ignore these things in society. You cannot allow people to drug their children. You cannot allow these behaviors, and you definitely can't allow these people to be alone by themselves in danger. If I wasn't here, this half of the building would have been burnt down already. There would have already been some children hurt, and this apartment would have been growing gross stuff, as well as dysentery would have been spreading all through the town. I know this for sure. As well as there would have been a lot of junkies coming in here, destroying the apartment, and I'm sure the landlord wouldn't like that, and then he would be kicked back to a closet where nobody has an eye on him. This is important to address these issues so people don't get hurt. This is why I got hurt initially at age 7. Somebody had a mental illness and it wasn't being addressed. And that got projected onto me. And I see this in other people, and I know what to do. I get them the help they need from the state, from the doctors, and then after their life is better, a lot of them keep their apartment, they get house cleaners, they get monthly doctor's appointments, they have a lot more resources to help them, as well as a lot more people keeping an eye on them. There was another person named Raymond who was mentally disabled, had the intelligence of a 7-year-old, and he's now in a nice home as well. And he has supervision. He was a higher maintenance. He should have never been allowed to live by himself. If you've seen his other apartment, that was clear. So I moved him up here because he wouldn't survive in a shelter for sure. And then I got him the help he needed. These people have better lives because I know what to do. Now, who is going to help me with my neurological disorder? Hopefully the state of New Hampshire and some doctors. I'm really hoping. As well as I'm a super hard worker who puts 110% into my community, into my job, into myself. I'm working, for the last 8 years, I've been working on myself a lot. Before that, I was very self-destructive. I mean, if my mother's going to do these things to me, then who the hell cares about my body? I do. I care about my body. 8 years ago, I came to that realization. Anyways, hopefully, I can have a nice, polite talk with him when he comes home and explain to him that I will no longer be carrying his food up, and he's no longer allowed to eat my food, and I will be recording you if you do it.